What is intelligence? Intelligence is our unique human ability to think, reason, plan, and solve problems. It helps us understand and process information, recognize patterns, and make decisions based on logic and analysis, like solving a math problem, planning a budget, or troubleshooting a tech issue. All of these rely on cognitive intelligence. To understand how this processing system works, we need to dig deeper into the evolution of our brain. The brain did not arrive fully formed as we know it today. It was built over millions of years. It evolved in layers, each one adding new capabilities on top of the older one. At the very bottom, we've got the reptilian brain, which is the brainstem, the area you see in red. This is the oldest part. It controls survival functions, the basic life support functions that keeps you alive, things you don't have to think about, like breathing, heart rate, how fast or slow your heart beats, blood pressure, swallowing and digestion, reflexes like coughing, sneezing, gagging, and blinking, and basic instinctive reactions. The brain stems handles automatic survival functions, the essential unconscious tasks that keeps you alive, even when you are sleeping or not paying attention. It's like your built-in autopilot for staying alive. Example, you are walking across the street and a car suddenly speeds towards you. You jump back before you even think about it. That's your reptilian brain in action. Instant survival mode. The second part of our brain, as mammals appeared, a new layer formed over the lizard brain, what we call the limbic system. It's the purple area in the middle. This layer's main functions are emotions. It generates emotional responses like fear, anger, joy, sadness, love, and pleasure. Also, it has the memory formation. It helps form and store emotional memories, especially powerful or traumatic experiences. It also houses motivation and behavior. It drives basic survival behaviors like hunger, thirst, sexual drive, and nurturing instincts. Also, emotional learning happens in this layer. It helps you learn from emotional experiences, like avoiding something that once caused you pain in the past. This area also detects threats, specifically the amygdala part, which is part of the limbic system. It quickly scans for danger and triggers the fight, flight, or freeze responses. Let me give you an example of the function of this area of the brain. You hear a song that reminds you of a childhood moment, and you suddenly feel nostalgic or tearful. Or if someone gives you a cold look and you feel anxious, even before you know why, that's your limbic system reacting. So everything we learned so far about emotions is actually housed in this layer of the brain. The limbic system is your emotional brain. It makes you feel, remember, and react. Finally, the most recent layer to evolve, the one you see in the blue area, is the neocortex. This is the most advanced part. The neocortex is our thinking brain. It handles all the high-level, complex stuff that makes humans different from animals. The main function of the neocortex are logical thinking and reasoning, like solving problems, analyzing information, and making decisions. Also, it is responsible for language and communication, like understanding words, forming sentences, speaking, reading, and writing. We also use this part of our brain for planning and organization, like thinking about the future, setting goals, making strategies. In this part of the brain, also self-awareness and reflection resides, like thinking about yourself, your emotions, your actions, and understanding and looking at your own thoughts. This part has also conscious control over our behavior, deciding not to act or act, choosing thoughtful responses instead of being impulsive. Also, this part is responsible for creativity and imagination, dreaming up new ideas, inventing things, creating art, stories, or solutions to problems. And lastly, in this area reside social behavior and empathy management, understanding others' perspectives and building complex relationships. In short, the neocortex is your rational brain. It lets you think, plan, communicate, and choose how to act instead of just reacting emotionally. Let me give you an example of the neocortex in action. You are writing an email to your boss after a heated debate. Although you are annoyed by them, you are editing your words to sound more professional and calmer. You are weighing pros and cons of this email before sending it out. That is your neocortex helping you to think things through. Now, here is the key point. The emotional brain existed long before the rational brain. What does that mean? If our emotional brain evolved way earlier than our rational brain, that means that emotions are so powerful. They are foundational in our existence, way before our thoughts were ready to make entrance through language.